A small airplane has to fly 186 kilometers due east from Galway to Dublin Airport. Okay. So this is G. This is D. And this is 189. Happy days. Okay. There's a wind blowing, keyword, from the south. Does that mean the wind's going south? It means it's going north. So velocity of wind is 60 J. You all good with that? Okay. The airplane can fly at 100 kilometers an hour and still air. Now, for example, if velocity of wind is 60, let's say it's 60 as a tailwind, and the velocity of your plane is 100. What's the actual velocity?
160.
Exactly. So velocity of plane equals the velocity of the wind plus the velocity of the plane in still air. So VPW is velocity of the plane without any wind, is how you'd explain that to yourself, okay? So this is if you did VPW, it doesn't make sense to do velocity of wind in the plane. You want to do velocity of plane in the wind. So VWP would make no sense. It has to be VPW. Okay? So whatever the first item is in the second item. If I said velocity of boat in water, VBW. Okay? So that's what you're looking to do. Now, VPW is VP minus VW. And then when you move VW over to your side, that's where you get this nice little equation here. Okay? Now, back to my diagram. Okay? How are you going to fight off the 60J to make sure that you go all straight across? Yeah, so if it goes 60 north, I'm going to aim down this way, so that I'm actually going 60 south. Does that make sense? 60 south, 100 in this direction. And what's the other one? I think it's a 6, 8, 10 triangle, isn't it? So 60, 80, 100. So that means I'm going 80 kilometers to the right, 60 kilometers an hour down, but the wind is forcing me at 60 kilometers an hour up. Means I'm just going to travel straight across to Dublin. Is that alright? So, all we got to do is do, what's it, 186 divided by, 189 divided by 80, and we'll do it in hours and minutes. About 2 hours, 22 minutes, because it's 21 minutes and 45 seconds. So 2 hours, 22 minutes. Alright, is the return journey the same? It is, because the wind is perpendicular to the direction you need to go in. Only when it's perpendicular. The only difference with the way back is this. The only difference with the way back is this. You're just, instead of going left to right, you're going right to left. And you're just aiming downwards. So you're still going downwards at 60. The only difference is your 80 goes to the left and not to the right. Same deal. Okay, so that's question 16 done, yes?
Is there a reason though backward one says 2 hours, or is that just a mistake?
Just a whirl. We have a boat, and for argument's sake, pretend it's a bank. Okay, boat starts here, and it wants to end up here, and that distance is straight up at 4.25. The water, it's not a river, it's almost like an ocean current, so it's at a weird angle, okay? So the river is actually, or the sea, whatever you want to call it, the water even, the water is dragging it to the right and downwards, okay? So to the right and downwards like so. So this is going to be 8 root 2. And 8 root 2. So straight away, when I'm doing this here, I have to aim at what to the left. What do I have to fire to the left? So I go straight up. What do I need? What's this component going to be? The parallel component.
8 root 2.
Has to be 8 root 2. Okay. And then we say we can go 18, don't we? So what's that? 18, is that okay? And then what we look for is just call this x if you want. So 18 squared equals 8 root 2 squared plus x squared. And then you can just solve out what x squared is. 18 squared is 8 root 2 squared. 196 square root of 16, probably 14. Everybody happy with 14? So what's your answer? For the velocity of the boat on the outward journey. So just give me a sec. Here's an interesting one, alright? The velocity of the boat. We've actually just gotten the velocity of the boat in the water, didn't we? The velocity of the boat in the water is minus 8 root 2 I plus 14j. Is that okay? But how fast is it actually going? That 14, what's happening to the 14? What's battling it? The 8 root 2 is slowing it down. Okay? So technically speaking, the velocity of the boat is when you add both vectors together, it's technically the velocity of the boat in water plus the velocity of the water. And being really specific, you can do it like this. It's going to be minus 8 root 2 I plus 14j plus 8 root 2 I minus 8 root 2 j, and your answer is 14 minus 8 root 2, which is 2.69. Does it want the time, does it? Okay, it wants the time. If it wants the time, do you know what, I'll just go for 4 decimals. I just don't want to risk anything. Oh, does it? Oh, lovely. So just do both the alright, fair enough. So just 14 minus 8 root 2. So what's the time taken? What's the distance? 4.25 divided by 14 minus 8 root 2. Love a good surge. Seven plus 4 root 2 over 8, or 1.58. Alright, prediction time. The way back, faster or slower? Can you guys do that for me now? Without me? Do the way back. You're aiming downwards instead of upwards, and then see if you get it right, and then I'll come in after you. Alright. So for those of you that are on 22, the water still does the same thing. So I'm going to leave the water over here. Just going to get rid of this part here. Okay, now you're at the top and you want to come on your way back down again. Now, unlike last time, you're not going to aim, you're still going to have to aim to the left. But you still want to battle that 8 root 2, don't you? So you're still going to battle that 8 root 2. So your 8 root 2 is going this direction here. You're still travelling at 18, which makes this other side the same as last time, which is 14. Is that okay? Now, this time, unlike last time, it's going to be 14 plus 8 root 2. Last time it was 14 minus 8 root 2 because the j components of the river and the boat were going in opposite directions. So this time your speed is actually going to be, your velocity of your boat is actually going to be 14 plus 8 root 2 because it's going in the opposite direction. Then your time taken is going to be, your time for part 2 is going to be 4.25 divided by 14 plus 8 root 2, which in turn should be 7 minus 4 root 2 over 8. Next thing you can do is you can add both times together. The time for the way up, this is the time for the way down. Add them together and you should get plus 7 over 4, which is 1.75 seconds. Or 1.75 hours. Hours. 1 hour 45 minutes. Okay. Does anybody have any questions about 22?